Three different meetings, the November 13th, 2024 public hearing, and then the May 1st and the September 4th, 2024 Planning Commission work sessions that we had. So has everybody had a chance to look through these?
I didn't. No, I didn't. But I'll just abstain.
Well, if you abstain, we won't have a quorum.
Okay, well, I didn't see them because I never saw, I was only,
Were they not coming through the Dropbox?
yeah, my Dropbox doesn't seem to be working. Somebody stole it. And doctor in Charlottesville stole my Dropbox. I'm sorry. But so I went online to get the rest of it, and the minutes aren't online. It says coming soon.
Because they don't get posted until they get approved. But so is there a motion to table then till next?
I've moved to table them.
Okay. Okay. All in favor of tabling these till next meeting, say aye. Aye. All opposed? That was obvious. Nobody's opposed. Okay, great. The next order of business is to hold a public hearing regarding the petition of Juan F. Chicas for a conditional use permit in a B1 limited business district to allow the use of an existing structure as a multifamily dwelling with 3 units at 2810 Campbell Avenue.
All right, thank you, members of Planning Commission. The purpose of the CUP petition is to allow the use of an existing structure as a 3-unit multifamily dwelling in a B1 limited business district at 2810 Campbell Avenue. The subject property contains approximately 162 thousandths of an acre, and the future land use map recommends mixed use for the property. Mixed use areas do not fit into any single use category and are intended to be developed for a balanced mix of residential, neighborhood commercial, civic uses, parks, and open spaces. In the B1 limited business district, single household dwellings are permitted by right, and multifamily dwellings are permitted upon approval of a CUP by City Council. The subject property contains a 1-story wood frame structure with approximately 1,505 square feet. It was previously used for commercial purposes and is adjoined by residential uses and parking. If the petition is approved, the structure would continue to be converted into a multifamily dwelling with 3 total units. A verbal warning was issued and a stop work order was placed on the property on June 28, 2024 for the conversion of the property into multiple residential units without a CUP or building permits. At the time of the stop work order, 2 dwelling units had already been installed and a 3rd unit was in progress. A notice of violation was issued on July 29th, and the zoning division was preparing to pursue the violation in court prior to the submittal of the CUP petition. The units constructed without permits would be subject to applicable building code requirements. The use of the existing building as a 3-unit multifamily dwelling should have limited impact on the surrounding area. Approval of the CUP petition would allow for 2 additional residential units without altering the zoning. This would preserve the opportunity for future commercial uses to occupy the space, which would be more closely aligned with the FLUME designation. The city's technical review committee reviewed the petition on October 22nd, and the planning division recommends approval of the petition with the conditions outlined in the report. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And who is here to speak on behalf of this petition? I think you already know what needs to happen, so I'd like to hear a little bit more about it.
Finish out the year strong, why not?
That's right.
You know? Amy Sipe, AccuPoint Surveying and Design. We've been brought on by Mr. Chicas to assist with the conditional use plan. I've actually been through the entire building. He does plan some upgrades if this goes through. He had started a deck, and we recommended some other approvals for stabilization. There's quite a steep slope in the back, as you can probably see from the topo that's on the plan that we provided, and additional egress paths to get to the sidewalk for ease of access. We also did notify him that should this be approved, he would then need to submit architectural building plans to make sure everything was to code through the building department. And so we recommended that he wait through this process before moving forward with that. So happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. And you might just want to stay.
I'll
'cause
just stay.
I don't see anybody here. So are there any emails in opposition or in support? Okay, well, we'll just open it up to close the public hearing and then open up to questions.
Just a quick question. For me, so we're not actually changing the zoning, it's just a conditional use. So the current use status of this building can be used in the future as whatever it's designated for. Now it's business. Should a future owner decide to just revert it back? And then, okay.
So was this a case of the owner didn't really know what he didn't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now some of the standards that should be met,
Correct.
we have a little bit more of a guarantee of that.
When we did the walkthrough, we said, he kept asking, well, can I go ahead and, do this or do that? And I was like, no, you can't do anything. So especially with it needing to be to code for appropriate multifamily access with 2 points of ingress egress. That's why we have the proposed staircases shown on our plan. Those are not currently in. I think one maybe have an older one, but in order to have a proper ingress egress, ultimately, we wanted to show those if this was approved so that it wouldn't come back, once he got his building approved. So we also told him that we would have to, that we would assist him with the floor plan and going through, he would have to go through a code check with the building permits department as well. So, and he will have to put in a backflow prevention for the water line, since this would then be multifamily.
Yeah, I mean, I know it seems regulatory, but I hope he realizes it's safety because of the code.
Right.
And it is regulatory.
And that's what we said.
it
We're
is
like,
safety. Yeah.
this is a safety
Right.
issue,
Right.
And he was like, well, people need places. And I said, I get that you're trying to do a good thing, but there's
Yeah.
a proper process and things like that.
Yeah.
And it is quite a depressed building, and it's definitely a better, rather something than nothing. And it's providing, it's more affordable, I would say, especially for the area that it's in. This building has been a plethora of things over the years that have come and gone. And, so it had sat vacant for quite a while until he bought it. So
I don't know if it's abandoned, isn't that what it used to be?
it used to be at one, it's been multiple things over, the last thing was a hair braiding facility. So, and then it had sat vacant for a while, so.
And I looked at it today, and the back porch looks really good.
Oh, it looks great.
So,
Yeah.
if that's the kind of work he's going to
It is,
do,
yeah.
it's going to be a huge improvement.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how was this even discovered?
I
I'm
believe
not
it came in as a
sure.
zoning complete for someone working without permits.
Okay. And I just asked that again because it is a safety thing, and it's hard. You wouldn't know it from the front. The front looks identical.
Yeah.
But it just makes you wonder how often this goes on. And we're just not aware of it.
Yeah,
Quite a
a lot.
bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I know.
And a lot of people don't know. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
it's not-
reality.
It's often not intentional.
And people think that they own the property, like, it's my property, I can do what I
Right.
want. And some of it is just a lack of knowledge of what the process is.
And I think if it hadn't been multi-family, it would still have to come before us or no? So
Not if it
again,
was single family.
it's a
Yeah,
gradient there,
Yeah.
and it's hard to always know where you fall
Sure.
on that.
It should still get a building permit.
Sure.
Even if
Right.
it's a single
Right.
family.
Any modification, yes,
You need it. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
No, we've had, redo your kitchen, you've got to get
yeah,
a building permit.
That actually came up, that was what I mentioned to you last night with Jacqueline. She had a local who wants to put in a house on a business zone property. But he also wants to put in some townhouses at some point later. So I said, well, townhouse might be an issue, but I think he can build the house without a zoning change or an exception, right? Can you do that on a?
We'd probably need to look at that particular, but in the B1, for example, a single-family house is permitted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
No, I think this is good, it's getting all the ducks in a row, and I think that the end structure is going to be better than it is now.
yeah.
And it's nice to get some stability in the tenants instead of the
Yes.
businesses switching every few years and having it look run down like it does.
They do have, we discussed, because we wanted to present as close as we could of finished product. They do plan some work to the facade to make it more appealing.
Yeah,
Um,
so it doesn't look like a business.
So it doesn't, somebody doesn't show up to get their hair done or something. So like you said, the back deck was done really well and it looks great. So with the staircases that we have shown and then the stabilization, we think would provide a good courtyard for the residents. And the upgrades to the facade, I think would make it look like a good building for the area, especially where it's at.
Yes.
Great. Any motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal as presented.
I'll say.
Okay, any other comment before we vote? Okay, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, great. Unanimous. Thank you.
Have a great holiday.
You too.
Thank you.
Now, our last order of business is to honor our colleague Nancy Marion for her service to the community, which I think has been very broad, not just here. And Ms. Frischisen, I don't know how to say the last name, Rachel, is going to read a resolution in honor of her.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Whereas Nancy Marion was appointed to Lynchburg Planning Commission in January of 2014, and she has been a dedicated member of the commission and served conscientiously since that time. Whereas Nancy has raised thoughtful questions and provided invaluable insight, perspective, and guidance over these years. And whereas Nancy was instrumental in preparing and adopting the Tinbridge Hill Neighborhood Plan, the Route 221 Corridor Plan, the Atlanta Avenue Corridor Study, the comprehensive rewrite of our city's zoning ordinance, the Downtown 2040 Master Plan, the Graves Mill Road Corridor Study, the Forest Brook Road Corridor Study, the Tyriana and Pleasant Valley Neighborhood Plan, the Deerington Neighborhood Plan, and most recently, the Diamond Hill Neighborhood Plan. And whereas during her service, Nancy has diligently provided input and discussion at 137 Planning Commission meetings, we counted your attendance, to provide for the general health, safety, and welfare of the city of Lynchburg. Therefore, be it resolved by the Lynchburg Planning Commission on this 11th day of December 2024 that we express our appreciation and respect to Nancy Marion for her service and lasting contributions to the city of Lynchburg, the City of Lynchburg Planning Commission, and its citizens. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
And do we vote to accept the resolution?
I think you should. Let's make
Okay.
it official.
Okay, well, I make a motion that we vote.
I'll say.
Yeah, all right, well, all in favor of accepting this resolution, of appreciation, say aye. Aye. Nancy abstains. So, great, that's it. Thank you. And we have any other business that has not been mentioned?
None today.
Okay, well, unless anybody wants to bring up anything, anybody have any other alternatives of what we should be doing with their time now?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, well, we will adjourn. Thank you.